Today we're going to do a little bit of counting. I know that you love your counting, don't you? And we've got some paper here today instead of our maths jotters. Okay, so just use it as you would do at home. The first thing I would like you to do is to write the number 455 for me on your piece of paper, nice and big. And how would you know that that is the number 455?
Because this is 100, and then I put a H on the top so I know that it's 400. And then for this one, I know that it's 50 because that represents it 5 tens. So I'll put a T to help me remember.
Okay.
And then for this one, I know that it's 5 1, so I put a O at the top.
Lovely. So how many hundreds have you got again?
4.
4. Okay. And how many tens have you got?
I've got 5.
Okay. Are there any tens hiding anywhere else?
Yes, there is. There are in the hundreds.
So there's some tens in the hundreds. What do you mean?
So I mean that. So if you have 100 cube, like a 100 cube, and then there's actually one row there's 110, and then another row there's 10, and then 10 tens equal 100.
Lovely.
40 tens is equal to 400.
Well done. I would like you then to have a little go of making that number for me above this number here. Lovely, thank you, Heidi. Now I can see you've grouped your numbers together, haven't you? How have you grouped your counters together?
Oh, I've grouped them into the actual, so I put the 400s together and the 5 tens and 5 ones together.
Okay, that's lovely. Now I'm just thinking, is there a way that we could maybe rearrange those counters so that they follow your columns that you've made for me?
Okay.
How do you know they match?
I know because there's 400s and this counter here has got 2 noughts and 1, and that equals 100. And I've got 4 and there's 400.
So it's 4 lots of 100 that make 400s. Okay, lovely, thank you. So what I'd like us to do then is I'd like us to have a little go of counting up in hundreds. So I'll say the first number, I'm just going to say it together for now. Okay, so my turn first. I'm going to start with this number here. 455.
555.
655.
755.
855.
955.
Oh, this is the hard bit, isn't it? Why is this the hard?
Because you've got 955 and 900 is the last 100 that you can get because there's no such thing as 1055. So you have to go into your thousands.
So we can't have 10 hundreds, can't we? We don't say it like that, do we? So once we get to 900, we add 100 on. When we've got 10 hundreds, we say 1,000 instead. Okay, you're an expert. You helped me out there. Thank you very much. So let's have a little go then of showing this. Okay, so I would like us to start a new piece of paper. Let's move that one to the top, leave everything there. Just shift it up for me. Try and drag it across without the counters moving. Perfect. Lovely. Could you draw a number line for me? Thank you. Sneaky. Perfect. And I'd like you to start at the number 455 for me. Okay. Right, and I would like us to write down, Heidi, the next number we will say when we add 100. Lovely. And could you label the total that you go up to? Fabulous. Well done, Heidi. Now, could you just mirror that for me and make sure that your counters show the same thing? Thank you. Which counters are you going for?
The first one I'm going for just 100 because I'm just adding 100
Lovely.
and none seems to change.
So you said the tens and the ones aren't going to change. Why aren't they going to change?
So I'm just going for the hundreds because when you look here, those end 2 bits are the same because I've just added 100 and the
Lovely. So are the tens and ones bigger than 100, or are they smaller digits than 100?
They're smaller digits than 100, but there is 55 and 100 somewhere.
There is.
But you're but you're just adding 100.
Lovely. So you could split 100 into 55 and another number. But we're just looking at the 100 for now, aren't we? Yeah, and they have 0 in the ones column and 0 in the tens column. Okay, well done. Could you do the next few jumps, me Heidi? Well done. I'd like you just to keep going for me, Heidi, until you reach the trickiest bit. Okay, when you get to a tricky part, I want you to just stop and tell me what you think that tricky part might be and why. So what's the tricky part? Can I just move your piece of paper along a bit, lovely, then we can see it a bit better.
It's when you get to 955, because there's no such thing as 1000. Well, there is, but you say it in a different way. So you would have to get up to your thousands, and sometimes little kids, and probably in like the early years, would say 1055.
Well done. We have a simpler way of saying it, don't we? It's when we say 1000, and that's when our what column would change when we get up to 955?
Just our hundreds column.
Just the hundreds? So let's add our hundreds on until we get to 955. So what's our total number that we've got here at the moment?
955.
Okay, so show me what happens now then, Heidi, when you add your next 100 on.
It gets us to 1055.
So can you prove that's definitely 10 hundreds to me? Can you put them into a structure that shows you it's 10 hundreds? And can you explain what you're doing for me?
I'm putting them into a 10 frame, so it's easier to know, because I know that 5 plus 5 equals 10.
So can you see that 10 frame is full? Is that an easier way to see that you've got 10?
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you do with your 10 hundreds now then?
I would have to exchange them.
And what would you exchange them for?
A 1000
A 1000 counter. And where would your 1000 counter go? Because you've not got a column there for thousands at the moment.
It would go just here.
Okay, can you draw that for me, lovely?
Just should I put the 1000?
Yeah.
Okay.
So our thousands column would be made, wouldn't it, at that point? So once we go past 900, we would go up to 10 hundreds, and as you said to me, that makes 1000. Yes? So what would your new number be after 955?
My new number will be 1055.
Well done. Could you write that on for me, lovely? I'd like to know how you write 1055. Could you explain that for me as you do it?
So when you do 1000, you have to put a 0 there, because there's no hundreds.
Ah,
So
okay.
you do a 0 there, and then you do 2 5s, because there's 5 tens in the tens column and 5 ones in the ones column.
Lovely. Thank you for remembering that. Because what would happen if you missed out the 0 by accident?
If I missed out the 0, it would only be 150.
Just show me what mistakes some people might make.
Some people would do this.
Ah, I see. And could you label your columns for me just to show me what that actually means?
100, and that's tens, and that's ones.
So if you forget to put your 0 in as a placeholder, you make a totally different number, don't you?
Yeah.
And that number, where would that number actually be if it was on our number line?
On our number line, it will be way back there.
It'd be way back there, wouldn't it? It wouldn't even be anywhere near where we're up to. Well, thank you very much, Heidi. The next thing I'd like you to do is I'd like you to draw a blank number line for me, nice and big again. And we're going to count backwards today. Where on your number line are you going to put your start number if we're going to count backwards?
At the end.
Lovely, thank you. So your start number, I would like you to pick. I would like it to be a 4-digit number between 1000 and 1500. Lovely. So what's your number there, Heidi?
1495.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Tell me how you know it's that number.
I know because that's the thousands column, and that's the hundreds column,
Yep.
and that's the tens column, and that's the 0 column.
Lovely, thank you very much. And I love how you just got it in the gap there, didn't you? Just got it between 1000 and 1500. 500. So what we're going to do now then is we're going to have a little go of counting backwards in hundreds. But before that, we need to make our number. So I'd like you to turn over your piece of paper for me, and I'd like you to show me the number, please. Okay? Perfect, thank you. And can you just explain what you're doing for me, Heidi, as you go?
I'm going to get a 1,000 to represent the 1,000.
Perfect, thank you.
And then I'm going to get the 400
Okay.
to represent the 400.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get 9 tens to represent the 90. And then I'm going to place them in the tens column.
Yeah. Okay, and your last bit, Heidi?
5 ones.
The 5 ones. Fabulous. There's your pen, Heidi. Can you just label those columns for me? Lovely. So we've got our thousands. What's the next column?
We got our thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones.
That's perfect. Thank you very much, Heidi. So what I'd like you to do now then is I would like us to have a little game of counting back in hundreds. Okay, and each time we do it, we're going to use the counters to help us. Okay, so I'm going to go first. 1,495 take away 100 is 1,395. Could you write that down for me, Heidi? Lovely, nice and loud, lovely. So can you do it again for me now then? So your turn, we're going to jump to 100.
So we take away that from
Yeah.
1,395, and we're going to take away the
And
100.
can you show me that, Heidi, with the objects?
And we take away that one.
Lovely. And what does that take us to?
1,295.
Perfect, thank you, my turn. So 1,295 subtract 100 leaves me with 1,195. Do you agree? Okay, your turn. Ooh, what's special now?
You don't have any hundreds, so it will be 1,095.
Lovely, and I'd like you to really think about how to write that number down. Hi, do you remember what we said about that special place value holder of the 0?
So it would go 1,000, and then you do a 0, and you would do a 90.
Perfect. Ooh, now this is a challenge. I need to take 100 away.
Oh, just take away the 100 from the 1,000. You could exchange that for 10 hundreds.
Okay, thank you. Do you do that for me, Heidi? So we're going to take this 1,000 and we're going to exchange it for how many hundreds? 10 hundreds. How does that help us to take away 100?
To take away 100 is just so you can take away that 100, then you know what you're left.
Right, you've made it much easier for me now to take away 100, so thank you for that. What does 10 hundreds make again?
10 equals 1,000.
Lovely. Okay, so we're still on 1,000, even though it's in the hundreds column, but it's 10 hundreds. 1,095. So it's my turn to take 100 away. Could you write down what I've done, Heidi, and what you think the next number would be? Now, can I just ask you something, Heidi? Have you noticed anything special about something that might have changed with your numbers? Because I noticed something about all of these numbers. They've all got something in common, but now this number doesn't.
All of those numbers have 1,000 in them.
So all of those numbers have got how many digits?
All of those numbers have got 1, 2, 3, 4 digits.
4 digits. So how many digits has this number got?
3.
Why does that number have 3 digits?
Because we've exchanged this one and we've got no thousands.
Ah, so we've exchanged our thousands for 10 hundreds. So we don't have 10 hundreds anymore. We've got
900.
So there aren't any.
Do you want any thousands?
No thousands. That's why we've gone down to 3 digits. Okay, thank you. So your turn. Take away the next 100 for me, Heidi. Thank you very much, Heidi. I'm just going to stop there because I can see that you're great at counting backwards and forwards and hundreds. I was just wondering if you could explain to me something you notice about these digits here.
So the digits, the columns that have been changing are always the 100 because it takes away the 100. But
Nice,
when you
lovely.
get to this one here, you're actually changing the thousands to no thousands.
Lovely. So when you get to here, you're actually changing the thousands column and...
The 100
Lovely. And which columns have remained the same the whole time?
and the 10.
Okay, thank you, Heidi. So we've counted backwards and forwards in hundreds, and because you've mastered that, I think you can count forwards and backwards in some numbers that are quite close to 100. So maybe we might be able to count forwards and backwards in 101s, or even 99s. Okay. So could you just write down the number for me? 99, 100, it's got a comma between the two, so I know they're separate numbers, and 101. Which of those numbers do you think is going to be easier to count forwards or backwards in?
This one here.
100? Is there more steps to these numbers than there is to this one?
there's more
Yeah?
steps.
Okay. So, how would we then be able to add 101? So I'd like you to make the number for me 455 again. So if I wanted to add 101, so count forwards in jumps of 101, what would I do to my counters?
What you would do, you would have to get hands on the 1 to 5 counters, and you would have to have one of them each time. You need 100 and 100.
So if I wanted to add 101, what counter do I need to add first?
The one counter.
The one counter. What does that take us up to?
456.
Lovely. Could you just write that down for me, Heidi? So you started on 455, so on your number line, start at number 455. And then, so you've added the 1, what have you got to add on next to add 101?
The 100.
Lovely. So could you add the 100 for me then, Heidi? And then I'd like you to start with your counter as well to show me what the total is, please. So I want us to add another jump of 100. I'm going to use the counters and you're going to write on what I'm doing. So if you go. So we started with 556 and I've added 1 on, which takes me to...
557.
And now I'm going to add on my...
100.
which takes me to...
Equals 657.
Thank you. Now Heidi, could you write down for me, or could you say to me first, is there a rule that we can follow to really easily add 101 or to jump forwards counting 101s?
First you would add the 100, no the 1, and then you would add the 100.
Lovely. So could you just write that rule for me here? So what you just said, so you don't need to write it in words, or just in symbols. So what do we need to do?
You would plus 1,
Well, if I use the word plus instead of add.
100.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Heidi. So let's have a little go without the drawings. So remember, you told me the rule, add 1, add 100. So I'll start from 657. What will our next number be? Oh, we add-
758.
So my turn, 758 add 1 is 759, add 100 is 859.
It would be 860. 960.
Thank you. Oh, I get the tricky one. So 960 add 1 is 961. And then add 100 to 961 would be...
1061.
Great, thank you. Your job?
So
So remind me of the rule, what have we got to do?
plus 1, so that would be 1062.
Mm-hmm.
And then plus 100 would be 1,162.
Lovely. I'll do one last one. Can you finish the last one off for me, Heidi?
We would plus the 1 to get us to 1,163. Then we would plus the 100, 1,263.
So Heidi, we've just been counting forwards in 101s. What was the rule to count up forwards in jumps of 101?
So forward would be plus 1, then plus 100.
Lovely. So what if we were going to go backwards instead and we were going to go count backwards in
It would say
101s?
take away 1, take away 100.
Could you write that rule down for me, please, Heidi? So I love how you're using your hundreds to help you with numbers nearby. That's great.
Take away 1, take away 100.
Lovely. So let's start with number 455 again. There.
No 1.
Okay, write down what you did. And make sure your jumps are relative to this, to the number, the size of the number. So the jump of 100 should be a bit, well, 100 times larger, really. Might not fit on our paper if we do it like that today.
That would take me to 354.
Lovely. Ooh, good job. So my turn now. So I take away 1. That takes me to 300s, 5 tens, which is 50, 3 ones, which is 3. So 353. And could you do the next step for me of counting backwards in 101, Heidi?
Yep. 100. Take away that 100 from the 100 column, so it's over there.
And that takes us to
253.
perfect. Now let's stop there.
Take away the 1 to get us to 252. Then take away the 100 to get us to 152.
So 152.
Take away the 1s to get us to 151. Take away the 100s to get us to 51.
Lovely. Okay. So I love how in your head you were still doing those jumps for me, weren't you? Okay, so what was the answer again?
51.
Perfect. Thank you very much.